Hello everyone, welcome to Believer Science Academy. This is the continued session on previous year question discussion. Today we will be discussing the economic questions of 2024 prelims question paper. So in 2024 question paper, there were around 11 questions from economy, which included questions from static, current affairs, and within static, the questions were both factual as well analytical. So today we will analyze the question paper and we will also try to find different ways of attending the question. So the in the question set A, the question started from question number 41. Okay, question number 41. See, the people who get economic questions very late are the lucky ones, because in the UPSC prelims, one of the most difficult questions every aspirant feel is from the economy parts. Okay, if the question economy parts are there in the beginning of the question paper, then most of the people get confused and most of the people get disheartened. If it is at the end, like, or it is the middle like this, it is very lucky, because by the time you reach here, you'll gain the confidence of attending the questions, and that confidence will carry forward in your prepare, like in your answering the other questions. Okay, so the first question here is about question number 40. The question number 40 is, with reference to the Indian economy, collateral borrowing and lending obligations are the instruments of A, bond market, B, forex market, C, money market, D, stock market. Okay, this is from the market economy of market markets of economy, different bond markets such as bond market, forex market, money market, stock market. So here CBLO, that is collateral borrowing and lending obligations, is part of money market. Okay, it is a part of money market. What is CBOL is? It is a short term money market instrument where there is an obligation between borrower and lender. What is money market? Any market where there involves a exchange of money, but the term should be less than 1 year. Okay, term should be less than 1 year. If the term is more than 1 year, that market is called as capital market. Okay, these capital market, money market, bond market, stock market, forex market are a sure questions every year, so better be prepared for these kind of questions. Okay, you could have answered this question by guessing it. In bond market, the instruments involve investing in bonds and other things, and in forex market it deals with the foreign exchange currencies, and stock market it deals with shares, stocks, etc., etc. So there is no collateral borrowing or lending obligations in those markets, so you could have used the common sense here, because where there is collateral borrowing and lending, okay, there is borrowing as well as lending, whereas in bond market there is no borrowing or lending, you are just investing in the bonds, whereas in forex market you are investing in the foreign exchange currencies, in the stock market you are investing in the stock market, so there is no borrowing or lending. So the only possible or the right answer here should be money market. If there was a capital market options, then it could have been very difficult, but because all the three are different and one is different from others, that is the right answer for this one. And question number 41, total fertility rate in an economy is defined as. This is very basic question, you must have been reading this from the childhood in onwards, so you should be able to answer this question. Option A, the number of children born per 1000 people in a population year. This is birth rate. Okay, this is birth rate, but the question is asking about fertility rate. And option B, number of children born to a couple in their lifetime in a given population. That is not the right answer. C, the birth rate minus death rate, that is the population rate. It is also not right. Option D, average number of live births a woman could have by the end of her childbearing age. Okay, the possibility or the average number of live births a woman would have, not the possibility. The amount of children a woman is going to have in her lifetime is called as fertility rate. Okay, so there is total fertility rate of India is presently 2.7, and it should be brought down to 2.1, and many of the states have already brought it down to 2.1, and many of the states are having fertility rate below 1.7, meaning the woman in their lifetime is the possibility of children a woman can have in that particular state is 1.7 children per lifetime, meaning around 1 and 2. Okay, in northern states of some states there is a fertility rate is very high, such as in Bihar and all, it is 3 to 4, meaning a woman is going to have 4 children in her lifetime. Okay, this is called as fertility. But the capacity or the possibility of capacity to bear children is called as fecundity. Okay, so this is a different term, fecundity and fertility. Actual performance of the fecundity is fertility. Okay, how the woman has actually performed and how many children she actually had or reared is called as fertility. But the possibility, woman can have children till the age of menarche. Okay, till the age of menopause. Okay, from menarche to menopause. So till that age she has the possibility of having the children, but the actual performance, that is how many a woman is going to have in her lifetime, is called as fertility. And the woman average number of live births per woman in the country is known as fertility rate. And 42, question number 42, it is dealing with banking and non-banking sector. In India, non-banking financial companies can access the liquidity adjustment facility window of the Reserve Bank. Okay, first we'll understand what is liquidity adjustment facility. Liquidity adjustment facility is a RBI's tool in monetary policy. Okay, RBI's monetary policy. Its aim is to provide for the short-term liquidity adjustment to different banks. Okay, whenever a bank is facing short-term liquidity crunch, in that time RBI is going to lend to that bank at a rate higher than repo rate. That is liquidity adjustment rate. It is only for banks only. So here the question is asking about non-banking financial company. So this statement becomes wrong. Now statement number 2, in India, financial institutional investors can hold the government securities. Okay, this statement would have been wrong if it was asked before 2018. But right now, after 2018, RBI has allowed foreign institutional investors to invest in Indian government securities. Okay, G securities. So this statement becomes right from 2018. Okay, and then in present, due to retail investment scheme, even the retailers also can invest in government securities. And statement number 3, in India, stock exchanges can offer separate trading platforms for debts. Okay, this statement is also right. Stock exchanges such as NSE, National Stock Exchange, has its own platform. Okay, this statement is also right. So the correct answer is option D, 2 and 3 only. This, if you had the basic idea about monetary policy of RBI, you could have easily guessed the answer. So liquidity adjustment facility is a bank liquidity adjustment facility. Here is nothing but a monetary policy tool. Monetary policy tools are used by the RBI to keep the money flow in the banking sectors. So it is mainly related to banking. So if you had removed one from options, 1 and A and C options would have been gone, and only with between B and D you could have made a guess and got the answer right. And now moving on to the question number 43. In India, which of the following can trade in corporate bonds and government securities? Statement the options are insurance companies, pension funds, retail investors, and they are asking you to choose the correct answer. Okay, corporate bond and government securities, as we discussed previously, they said there is foreign institutional investors are allowed to invest in these securities. Along that, insurance companies are also allowed to invest in corporate bonds and government securities. Government securities, all the three are allowed to invest in government securities, but the question is about corporate bonds. Now, after RBI, IRDAI, Insurance Regulatory Authority of India, okay, it has allowed insurance companies to invest in InvITs and REITs. Okay, InvITs is investment trust, REIT is real estate investment trust. Okay, now insurance companies are also allowed to invest in these corporate bonds. And then pension funds, all those pension funds which are rated above the rating of A are allowed to invest in corporate bonds as well as government securities. So even the 2 becomes right. And then retail investors, initially the retail investors were not allowed to invest in government securities, but post retail investment scheme in 2023 by RBI, now even the retail investors are also allowed to invest in government securities. So the answer here is D, all the above. Next, question number 44. Consider the following: ETF, motor vehicles, currency swap. Which of the above are considered as a financial instruments? What are financial instruments? Financial instruments that can be used to extend the finances. It can be used to trade it in the markets. So here, exchange traded funds. Okay. So what are the major financial instruments in India? Are exchange traded funds, certificate of deposits, mutual funds, loans, etc., are called as financial instruments. Okay, so the statement option 1 is correct. And second is currency swap. It is not actually it is very confusing. It is not present in Indian here, but it is given by IMF. Okay, according to International Monetary Fund, in foreign exchange instruments, even the currency swap is also considered as a form of foreign exchange instrument. So foreign exchange instrument is a form of financial instrument. But motor vehicles, do you think motor vehicles are used as a like liquid, used as a currency trade, like financial instruments? Do you think the motor vehicles are bought and then they're sold just to exchange for the money? No, they are sold when there is a money crunch, but they are not considered as a financial instruments. So the correct answer here is D, 1 and 3 only. You could have easily guessed this answer. Okay. So motor vehicles are not a form of financial instruments. Next, very basic question, but very confusing one. Most of the people got the answer wrong in this one. The question is, with reference to the sectors of Indian economy, consider the following pairs. The economic activity they are saying is storage of agricultural produce, dairy farm, mineral exploration, weaving cloth, and they are asking about secondary, primary, tertiary sectors. So first you'll understand what is primary, secondary, and tertiary sector. Okay, primary sector is the like most primitive form of economic activity which is present in world. According to primary sector, like what is primary sector? Primary sector involves in production and extraction of raw materials. Okay, production and extraction of raw materials from the nature. Okay, those are called as primary activities. Second one is secondary activities. What is secondary activities? Whatever the raw materials we obtained here, we are going to convert this raw material into finished goods. If any activity involves conversion of raw materials to finished goods, that is called as secondary activity. Those are also called as manufacturing activity or manufacturing sector. Third one is tertiary sector. Tertiary sector is, it deals with providing services to consumers. Okay, now moving to the question. Storage of agricultural produce. Are you like here, is there any raw material involved? No. Is there any conversion involved? No. So it is a form of tertiary sector. Okay, so this statement becomes wrong. First one is wrong. First matching of is wrong. Second one is dairy farm. Dairy farm, here you are obtaining the raw material from the nature. The raw material here is milk and you are obtaining from the nature, from the cows. So this is a form of primary sector. This is right. And then mineral exploration. Okay, here many people get confused because mineral exploration most of the times many consider it to be secondary. Okay, because it involves mineral, because it is not dealing with agriculture. But here again you are exploring the raw materials. What is the raw materials here? Minerals or mineral ores. Here you are only exploration. So this is also belongs to primary sector. Here they are asking, here the option is tertiary sector. So this is also wrong. These two are wrong. Third one is weaving cloth. Okay, here you are converting raw material, that is cotton, into cloth. Okay, so this is a manufacturing sector and it is secondary. So 2 is correct. The option here is only 1, only 2, only 3, all the 4. So only 2 are correctly matched. So the correct answer here is only 2. Okay, so you could have easily guessed this answer with the help of common sense. Like again, in economy, it is not all about current affairs. You should be thorough with your basics. You should be thorough with your static part of the economy also. This is very static or very basic in nature. If you have a correct understanding of what is primary sector, what is secondary sector, what is tertiary sector, you could have easily answered this one. And again, some certain questions which will be of very basic nature about what is GDP, okay, what is GVA, etc. questions are also coming in economy. So you should be thorough with your basics. That is the point here. And then question number 46. Consider the following material: agricultural residue, corn grain, wastewater treatment sludge, wood mill waste. Which of the above can be used as a feedstock for producing the sustainable aviation fuel? Okay, this is a difficult question. Difficult in the sense, who is going to remember all these things? Okay, who is going to specifically study what are the raw materials needed for the sustainable aviation fuel? So, okay, these are certain kind of questions which UPSC is going to pull out of a rabbit's hat. Okay, for these kind of questions you can either use common sense or you can just leave these questions. Here use the common sense. Agriculture residue, corn grain, wastewater treatment sludge, wood mill waste. Is there anything different from these things? Okay, is there anything very stark that is going to differentiate between these products? There is nothing. So you could blindly choose option C. Okay, whenever there is a question of this kind, most of the times the answer will be C, but don't blindly put the answer. You could have left the answer, but according to Department of Energy, the source for sustainable agriculture, sustainable aviation fuels are, okay, like this is a scheme which aims to convert waste into energy. So what are the waste here? Corn grain, oilseed, algae, fats, oils and greases, agriculture residue, forestry residue, wood mill waste, municipal waste, waste, energy crops. These are all the raw materials which can be used as a source for sustainable aviation fuel. So now we're coming back. All these are present here: corn grain, agriculture residues, wastewater treatment sludge, wood mill waste. So here they are converting waste into energy. So you could have guessed it in a way, but even if you don't know, you could easily leave these kind of questions. Okay, so here the answer is option C, all the above. And then moving on to the next question. Again, here it is also asking about basics. That is, with reference to physical capital in Indian economy, consider the following pairs: items, farmer's plow, computer, yarn used by the weaver, petrol. Categories: working capital, fixed capital, working capital. You have to choose which of the above pairs are correctly matched. Only one, only two. So here you have to know all the above. Okay, here you have to know about all the four things. Here also this is about basics only, very static in nature and very basic in nature. It is talking about raw materials. Okay, it is talking about physical capital. Physical capitals are of two types. One is fixed and another one is working capital. What is fixed? It is permanent in nature. Okay, what is permanent? This screen, LED screen, this is permanent in nature. Once you bought this, it is not going to get wasted within a year or so. So you are using this as an investment for your another things. Okay, what is the purpose? The purpose of investment here is to teach the students. So this screen becomes, or this computer or this instrument becomes fixed capital because it is permanent in nature. And secondary, temporary natures. So the temporary ones are normally raw materials. Okay, I travel from another area to here. Okay, I travel through a bike. Okay, what is the raw material for bike? Petrol. So petrol becomes working capital here. So now moving on to this question: farmer's plow. What is farmer's plow? Farmer's plow is like negilu. Okay, that is permanent in nature. Okay, since it is permanent in nature, it becomes fixed capital. So this statement becomes wrong. This one is wrong. Next, computer. I already explained here. Computer is a fixed asset, so it is the correct one. And then yarn used by the weaver. Okay, what is yarn? Yarn is a raw material. Okay, raw material used by the weaver. That raw material is used for only particular product. Once it is used for a particular product, that is gone. It is temporary in nature, so it becomes working capital. So this one is wrong. Then petrol. Okay, petrol once you use for 100 like 10 kilometers, the like whatever is the mileage, if it is giving for like 60 kilometers for 1 liter, if you use the 1 liter and if you travel 60 kilometers, that petrol is gone. So it is temporary in nature, it becomes working capital. So the correct answer here is only 2. Okay, so very basic in nature, fixed and working capital, very basic in nature. You could easily guess this answer. There are some like what you say, laddus. Okay, laddus in UPSC prelims which you should not miss out. You should get the most out of these laddus. And then there is a question about this can be asked in either science and technology or can be asked in economy. The question is, which one of the following words or phrases in most appropriately used to denote an interoperable network of 3D virtual worlds that can be accessed simultaneously by the millions of users who can exert property rates over virtual items. Okay, this is science and technology, but just option A: big data analytics, cryptography, metaverse and virtual metrics. So the answer here is metaverse. Okay, metaverse here is, that is, it is kind of a virtual world where you can own a property. Okay, so that is like very futuristic in nature, but it is already present now. It is already present in most of the developed countries where they are already working on this metaverse. So we'll discuss this in detail during our science and tech discussion. Now, question number 49. With reference to Reserve Bank of India, with reference to the rules of imposed by Reserve Bank of India while treating foreign banks, consider the following statements. So there is no limit, there is no minimum capital requirement for wholly owned banking subsidiaries in India. For wholly owned banking subsidiaries in India, at least 50% of the board members should be Indians. Okay, wholly owned banking subsidiaries. Wholly owned banking subsidiaries are a bank owning another bank, smaller bank, that is a subsidiary bank. For these things, there are certain rules or guidelines issued by RBI. wholly owned subsidiaries and RBI rules. According to this, there is a minimum paid up capital. Yes, there is a minimum paid up capital, and that is according to RBI should be 5 billion. Okay, if you want to operate as a wholly owned subsidiary in India, you have to have a minimum paid up capital of 5 billion, and in order to retain the nature of the wholly owned subsidiary to be Indian, at least 50% of the members should be Indians. So here statement 1 is wrong because it is saying no minimum capital. Statement 2 is right because it lets 50%, it is saying about Indians. So here also you could have guessed it in a way, because a bank which is present in India, even though it is wholly owned by another bank which is present outside of India, there can be certain provisions given by RBI so that it can retain the nature of Indian nature. So statement 2 is correct. And for any company or any bank to work in India, they should have a certain minimum capital. There is no way that RBI is going to ask everyone to start a wholly owned subsidiary without any minimum capital. So statement 1 is wrong. Statement 2 is correct. The correct answer here is 2B, 2 only. And then 50, with reference to corporate social service responsibility, corporate social responsibility or CSR rules in India, consider the following statements. CSR rules specify that expenditures that benefit the company directly or its employees will not be considered as CSR activities. CSR rules do not specify minimum spending on CSR activities. Okay, what is CSR activity? Corporate service responsibility. Okay, that is a corporate companies or corporates have a responsibility to serve the people surrounding them. Okay, because of the because they are gaining all the profits because of the help done by the locals or help done by the society. So it is your responsibility that whatever the profit you get out of using the resources of the land, using the resources of electricity, using the government resources, etc., you should be in a position so that you should return it back to the society at large. So that is called as corporate social responsibility. So the aim here is whatever the profit they are accruing from the society, they should be able to provide it back to the society. The statement 1 was the statement 1. If that is going to benefit the company directly, its own employees. So is it really considered as corporate service responsibility? No, they are they are serving themselves. So it is not considered as corporate service responsibility. So statement 1 is right. Okay, it will not be considered as CSR activities. Statement 1 is right. And statement number 2, CSR rules do not specify minimum spending on CSR activities. This is wrong because according to CSR rules, there is a minimum spending cap on it. 2% of the net profit in preceding 3 years. Okay, the total amount of CSR amount that a company should spend is that 2% of the net profit in the preceding 3 years. Okay, if they are getting 100 rupees as a profit in last 3 years continuously, then they should 2 rupees of that 100 rupees for the corporate service responsibility. That corporate service responsibility can be various things, but one of the things that cannot be is they cannot benefit themselves or their employees. So no, the answer here is option A, 1 only. Okay, next moving on to question number 51. So question number 51 is talking about United States, okay, bond market, debt market. So if the United States of America were to default on its debt, holders of US Treasury bonds will not be able to exercise their claims to receive the payment. This statement is wrong. Even if the America defaults on its debts, holders of US Treasury are able to receive their payment. Whatever the amount you have spent or invested in the Treasury bills of USA bonds, even if USA defaults on its debt payments, you will get the amount which is promised by you by the government of USA. Okay, statement 1 is wrong. So second is US government debt is not backed by any hard assets, only by the faith of government. This is correct. Okay, government debts such as bonds, etc., they are not backed actually by any hard assets. They are backed actually by the faith that a company has in the government. Okay, so these kind of bonds are considered as low risk and low yielding. Okay, whenever the risk is high, the yields will be, if the risk is high, yields will be high. So here the risk is also less, even the yields will also be low. Yields in the sense, whatever the investment you are going to put, whatever the returns you are getting, that is called as a yield will also be less. So here the statement is, since statement 1 is incorrect, this is not wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, statement D is correct. Even if you don't know statement number 2, you could have easily answered this one because statement 1 is incorrect. Next, moving on to 52nd. Consider the following statements. Syndicate leading spreads the risk of forward default across the multiple lenders. Statement 2, syndicated loan can be a fixed asset or lump sum amount but cannot be a credit line. So what is syndicate banking or syndicate asset? Syndicate loaning is two or more banks are coming together to provide a loan for a particular company or a corporate. So this like whenever there is a huge amounts involved, okay, whenever there is lump sum amounts to be paid, given as a loan, in those times, in those conditions, two or more companies come together to provide the loan. So like basic idea behind this one is, basic reasoning behind this one is that even if the even if the person who takes the loan defaults on it, we will have the like the risk is going to be spread by different or many banks. Okay, the risk will be lesser compared to one bank lending compared to the 3 or 4 banks are lending. Okay, so less risk will be therefore on each banks in syndicated banking. And statement number 2 is that fixed asset, credit line, or combination of both, all these are allowed in syndicated banking. So here statement number 2 becomes wrong. Statement number 2 is wrong. So here answer is, what is statement number 2? Statement 2 is incorrect. So C is the correct answer. Okay. And then 53. What is 53? It is talking about digital rupee. So it is a sovereign currency issued by Reserve Bank of India in alignment with monetary policy. That is right. It appears as a liability on the RBI's balance sheet. That is also right. It is insured against the inflation by its very design. This is wrong, because digital currency is nothing but money in its digital form. Okay, a physical money and the digital money, the difference between both is that a physical money is in physical form, digital money is in digital form, but the value, but the rate or the price or the inflation, like inflation, everything is same only. Okay, if it is 100 rupees in physical money, it is 100 rupees in digital money also. So it is not insured against insurance. Suppose the value of the money goes down because of inflation, then it is not insured. So the value of digital money also goes down. And then it is a freely convertible asset against the commercial bank and commercial money and cash. That is right. Okay, the idea behind forming a digital money is that you can easily convert it into physical money and back and forth. So statement 4 is correct. Here statement 3 is wrong. So the correct answer is option D, 1, 2 and 4 only. Then after this, what are the other polity questions? Like economic questions are okay. Question number 98. Okay, these last three questions are dealing with like schemes of government. First one is with reference to digital land record monetization program, modernization program. Consider the following. To implement the scheme, central government provides 100% of funding. That is right. Land records modernization scheme, it is a central sector scheme where 100% funding is from central government. Under the scheme, cadastral maps are digitized. Yes, it is given in the name itself, Digital India Land Record Modernization Program. And then an initiative has been undertaken to transliterate the records of right from local language to any of the languages recognized by the Constitution of India. This is also correct. So here answer is option D, 1, 2, 3. Whenever there is a scheme and whenever there is a statement, if it is of in positive way, if it is a statement of positive manner, if it is talking about the government or the scheme in a positive manner, most of the times, 90% of the times, that statement is going to be correct. Okay, so here all the three are in a positive way, so this statement is correct. With reference to the Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Mantritva Abhiyan, consider the following statements. The scheme guarantees a minimum package of antenatal care services to women in the second and third trimesters of pregnancy and 6 months post-delivery health care in any government health facility. Okay, this question is difficult. Okay, the scheme is not that much of a difficulty, but the statement here is difficult. It is talking about antenatal care services to women in their second and third trimesters of pregnancy. This is right. And 6 months post-delivery health care. That is wrong. It is not 6 months post-delivery health care. It is actually 9 months. Okay, 9 months. So statement 1 is wrong. Second one is under this scheme, private sector healthcare providers of a certain specialties can volunteer to provide health facilities services in the nearby government health facilities. This is right. Okay, so it is positive in nature. Private sector can volunteer to provide the services under this scheme. So why would the government say no for this one? Only it is voluntary. So only two only. And the last question of last year economy questions were question number 100 with reference to Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandan Yojana. Consider the following statements. So the entry age group for the enrollment of the scheme is 21 to 40 years. It is not 21 to 40 years. Instead, it is 18 to 40 years. Age specific contributions shall be made by the beneficiary. Yes, age specific beneficiary like contributions are to be made by the beneficiaries because the contribution of government and the individual is 50 to 50. If you start from the age of 18, your contribution will be different from the person who is going to start at the age of 35. If you start at the age of 18, you can invest only around 100 rupees or 200 rupees, that is enough per week monthly. But whereas if you start at the age of 30, 36 or 38, you have to spend at least for 5,000 or 4,000 something, amount will be larger. Okay, you have to match the 50% contribution provided by the government. In order to match it, the contribution keeps on changing with respect to age. And then each subscriber under the scheme shall receive a minimum pension of 3,000 per month after attaining the age of 60 years. Okay, that is correct one. You are going to invest in the government now from age 18 to 40, and after 20 years, when you reach the age of 60, when you are retired, at that time you are going to receive a pension of 3,000 per month. And then family pensions is applicable to the spouse and unmarried daughters. Family pensions are applicable, but it is applicable only to the spouse and not the unmarried daughters. So here the statement is wrong because it is not unmarried daughters. So the correct answer here is one is wrong. Statement 1 is wrong and statement 4 is wrong. The correct answer is B, 2 and 3 only. So this ends our today's discussion on economic question paper. So hopefully I have addressed your doubts here. If you have any doubts, do write in the comment box. And if you want any other topics to be discussed in the class, do write that also. And if you like the video, please like, comment and share with your friends. With this, I will end the session. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.